Hello, my most vivacious viewers, hoping to vicariously view V for Vendetta to see the journey of V and Evie with me and Jen. Today we're watching V for Vendetta. Oh, and happy November 5th. Remember, the 5th of November. But we are American, so we really don't have a whole lot of the history of Guy Fawkes here in this country, but it's through movies like V for Vendetta, which was based off a graphic novel by Alan Moore, who also wrote Watchmen, which we've been wanting to do. So because I know it's November 5th, I wanted to make sure we watched this movie. Do you have any prior knowledge of this movie? Do you know what it's about or any of the fandom around it or anything like that?
I do not. The only thing that I'm aware of from this movie is the mask. But I don't even know, I don't have any context for that. So I've heard of the movie. I don't remember really getting any reception or hearing any reception, whether it was good or bad, except for from Holden. I know he loves it. So I'm really going into this completely blind. I love Natalie Portman though. I think she's a very talented actress. I don't know who else is in it or the storyline or anything. So Holden says it's good, so I'm really curious to see what it's all about.
I don't want to overhype it, but you already know that I really enjoy this movie. It's got some sort of futuristic 1984 vibes. There's a lot of kind of political tones and political analogy throughout the movie, I would say. Sort of a big brother government overreach versus the people, compliance. A lot of things that are still very much issues that, whether you're American or not, are issues that we face today. So it opens up a lot of interesting dialogue. Aside from all that, it's just a crazy, entertaining movie. Natalie Portman, who we really like. Hugo Weaving is in it as well. Directed by, I think it was both the Wachowskis. The Wachowskis did The Matrix. So this is one of the, the Wachowskis in their prime right now. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. And no, My Girlfriend Watches would be complete without a comment of the day. Last week we did Halloween Kills when it was still October. This was a comment on Halloween Kills from Damon McFarlane. The mental patient in this film passed away last May. His sister said he really enjoyed his role and hoped people would remember him. So the guy that was victim in the mob in Halloween Kills. He was also at the very beginning of Halloween 2018. The actor passed away. I did double check that just to make sure we're not spreading misinformation. He did in fact actually pass away, so that was really sad. Big shout out, love to his family, loved him in the movie. We love those Halloween movies. So thank you for that comment of the day. If you would like your comment featured in a comment of the day, make sure you comment down below. We'd really appreciate it, and we'd like to hear what you have to say. But let's go ahead and get into it on November 5th, V for Vendetta.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. His name was Guy Fawkes, and I know in 1605 he attempted to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
That's true.
400 years later, an idea can still change the world. A man that I will never forget.
It's got some Mask of Zorro vibes.
A gesture, they said, of goodwill. No one escapes judgment. Whoa! Excuse me, miss.
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
You in a hurry, are we? Well, maybe you could look after us before getting back to your uncle.
Ew. Why are you talking to her like that?
Because they're perverts.
Dish your discretion.
And you get to swallow it.
Oh, got your finger, man.
Oh, hell no. Did he just say that?
Yeah. There's your suggestive dialogue.
Oh, God, no. Please don't do this.
The multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon
Yes.
Bugger off! Fingerman, pal.
I mean, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
I can assure you I mean you no harm, and I'm merely remarking upon the paradox of asking a masked man who he is. Voila! In view, a humble vaudevillian veteran. No mere veneer of vanity is a vestige
This
of
is
the
exhausting
vox
already.
populi Belgic, guarding vice and vouchsafing the violently vicious and voracious violation of volition. Vendetta, held as a votive, not in vain.
He just really likes words that start with V.
You may call me V.
Like a crazy person.
Right?
That's
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
I'm quite certain they will say so.
Means that I, like God, do not play with dice and do not believe in.
I, like God, do not play with dice. There's some good lines in here.
A more perfect stage could not be asked for. Remember the 5th of November.
All right.
Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture.
Add it to the blacklist. I never want to hear that music again.
We're calling it an emergency demolition.
Doubt will plunge this country back into chaos, and I will not let that happen.
Though the demolition had been planned for some time, the music and the fireworks were.
I mean, there was no bloody demolition. I saw it, the whole thing.
Or it.
Why does he wear a Guy Fawkes mask and then blow up the Bailey? Didn't Fawkes try to blow up Parliament? Gotcha.
What's all that?
Not sure, they just arrived.
What the hell is this?
Her parents were political activists.
Oh my goodness.
This guy's not playing around.
So he's like a terrorist, a vigilante.
It depends on who you ask, isn't it?
It's jammed.
Break it down. Prevails.
Dad, what's wrong with the telly?
Good evening, London. Allow me first to apologize for this. I thought we could mark this November the 5th by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. Words will always retain their power. There is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Intolerance and depression. And where once you had the freedom to object, you now have censors and systems of surveillance. How did this happen? Who's to blame? If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. Last night, I destroyed the Old Bailey to remind this country of what it has forgotten.
I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament.
So the guy that blew up Parliament.
He tried to blow up.
Or tried to. Why?
I guess he felt like the government was corrupt.
Under fire! You put masks on all of us. Oh, Jesus.
Oh my goodness. That's actually brilliant though.
It's a bomb right to the timer in the control booth.
Oh no.
Good God.
There's Holden in the background.
Yeah, filming it. This is good stuff.
Oh, nice.
I did it.
Uh-oh.
I must say that I'm rather astonished by the response time of London's finest.
Now, this is only an initial report. The terrorist was shot and killed.
Bollocks.
The terrorist is dead.
What I pictured your room looking at, like, initially.
What, full of books like
Yeah.
that? I like his pad though, he's got some cool stuff.
What is this place?
It's my home. I call it the Shadow Gallery.
It's beautiful.
If they do find this place, a few bits of art will be the least of my worries.
You mean after what? I maced that detective. Why'd I do that?
You did what you thought was right.
Oh no, I shouldn't have done that.
You said they were looking for you. If they know where you work, they certainly know where you live. If I'd left you there, right now, you'd be in one of Creedy's interrogation cells. In all probability, kill you in the pursuit of finding me.
I have to stay here.
Only until I'm done. After the 5th, I no longer think it'll matter.
Why did you just leave me alone?
He's so casual, like, no, you just gotta stay here for a year.
It's like, well, there's the options were either stay here for a year or they were gonna kill you. And I chose to bring you here.
Oh, what happened to his hands?
Who's to say?
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
I just wanted to apologize for my reaction last night.
There, that's better.
Can I ask what happened?
There was a fire.
He was wearing like an apron and.
I know. I love how it's pink.
It was delicious. You stole this from Chancellor Sattler.
Yes. People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
And you're going to
Make some good points.
My nose looks like Big Ben. Listen, find another DOP or find yourself another job.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I'd had the chance for a face-to-face. Just one chance.
Oh, that's cool.
He's got a nice shower.
England prevails.
Commander.
Stop that. Why do you keep calling me that?
That was your title, remember? You wore a uniform in those days.
It is you.
The ghost of Christmas past.
We have to keep this discreet, Inspector. Cast in the wrong light. Quiet, dignified death in his sleep.
Mondego.
Come on, Dago.
My favorite film, The Count of Monte Cristo.
Well, his is the original. What? Literally us right now.
Yesterday I couldn't find my ID. You didn't take it, did you?
Would you prefer a lie or the truth?
Do you have anything to do with that?
Yes, I killed him.
Why is he throwing her under the bus?
Well, I think he figures they're gonna kill her either way, so You gotta keep her in hiding until next year.
Are you going to kill more people?
Yes.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, he's a very honest person.
I never saw them again.
The highest paid person at the camp was a priest.
He's a bishop now.
And they've sent a new girl who I'm afraid is a little older than usual.
She's not too old, I trust.
That is for your grace to decide.
Ew.
Your Grace.
Your Grace.
That's cool.
I love the confessional game.
I'm telling you that any moment he's going to come through that door.
It's a game I've never played.
This guy deserves to die.
Yes.
Show you the firmness of my beliefs.
God.
Little bitch, you little whore! She wasn't lying. It is you.
I'm sorry.
Evie! Have mercy.
Oh, not tonight, Bishop. Not tonight.
Have an emergency.
That's cool. I want a secret room.
What?
Thought that lad had destroyed.
He believes he did. It's a copy of the Quran, 14th century. You don't have to be Muslim to find the images beautiful, or its poetry moving.
But is it worth it? I mean, if they found that, I was on my way here.
Ah.
What is going on?
It's a little bit freaky.
If I were to invite who I desired, I would undoubtedly find myself without a home with Leonard.
Well, he's gay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
You wear a mask for so long, you forget who you were beneath it.
It's a Scarlet Carson.
He leaves them at the crime scenes. I'd appreciate it if you could have a look at it.
My God, he's killed them all.
All but one.
Who is she?
What was the medical examiner's name? Her?
I think it was Diana.
Is that her?
Who's to say?
Is it her? Oh!
Change the name of Delia Surrey.
Delia.
Oh! I was right.
Yeah, very good. You can't escape your past.
You've come to kill me. I knew that one day you'd come for me.
I've not come for what you hoped to do. I've come for what you did.
Mm-hmm.
This one is for you. I killed you 10 minutes ago while you slept.
The terrorist obviously wanted us to have it.
You have read this document, Inspector?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone else read it?
No, sir.
Any discussion of this document or its contents will be regarded as an act of sedition, if not a willful act of treason. Put it out of your mind.
I'm guessing some kind of testing.
This could be the dawn
questionable
of a new
stuff.
age. August the 18th.
Oh my goodness.
He exhibits none of the immune system pathologies that the other subjects developed.
Some similarities between this and the Holocaust.
I hope that all of this will not have been in vain. The first explosions tore open the entire medical section, and I saw him, the man from room 5. There were no eyes, but I know he was looking at me.
The first morning I was with him, he made me eggs just like this.
Really? It is a strange coincidence. Although I am V. At last you know the truth.
That is not funny, Gordon.
Yeah, I know. I'm useless without a studio audience.
What if someone else killed all those people? If our own government was responsible for the deaths of almost 100,000 people? Would you really want to know?
Adam Sattler!
We threw out the censor-approved script and shot a new one that I wrote this morning.
Oh my God.
Chancellor. Are you saying that he's... the terrorist!
You're mad.
Either that or I wasn't breastfed.
Is everything a joke to you, Gordon?
It'll be fine. Quickly, hide!
Oh no.
Not so funny now, is it? Funny man.
Gotcha.
Uh-oh.
Do you know why you're here, Evie Hammond? Conspiracy to commit terrorism, treason, and sedition. Only one chance to save your life. Tell us the identity or whereabouts of Codename V. All you have to do is cooperate.
Got a lot of stolen art. The brick is gray.
Oh no. That's a heartbreaking part.
And she really did it too.
Oh gosh.
Me feeding Boston.
Falcon eating Boston food.
Oh, Natalie.
My name is Valerie. I don't think I'll live much longer, and I wanted to tell someone about my life. I fell in love with a girl named Christina. That year, I came out to my parents' house. But within that...
Jeez.
What a savage.
I know.
Just tell us where he is.
I don't know. I remember how different it became dangerous. I still don't understand it. It seems strange that my life should end in such a terrible place. Understand what I mean when I tell you that even though I do not know you, I love you. With all my heart.
Unless you are ready to offer your cooperation, you are to be executed.
Is this V testing her?
Why do you think that?
Very well.
I don't know. It just seems like they would have done something by now, dragging it out.
Well, maybe you would have to have done quite a bit too.
And that guy, his mannerisms seem like V.
Really?
It's time.
Is it V?
The amount
You're
of
so bad at this. Like
the amount of elaboration.
And you have no fear anymore. You're completely free.
I love the way she pokes him.
It's V.
Hello, Evie.
It's you.
Yeah.
I would be livid.
You tortured me.
You said you wanted to live without fear. I wish there'd been an easier way, but there wasn't.
I hate you.
That's it! See, at first, I thought it was hate too.
Shut up! I don't want to hear your lies.
Because you believed it, you found something true about yourself.
No. Don't.
You told them you'd rather die. You faced your death, Evie.
Didn't seem right knowing you wrote it.
I didn't.
It was real.
Yes.
She's beautiful.
That ain't some Stockholm syndrome.
Right?
I would wish to see you again, if only once, before the 5th.
I want every man, woman, and child to understand how close we are to chaos.
In the former United States.
Former United States.
Yeah, what's up with that?
This is like a slight future area. So she said, like, in 2015, I was in this movie. This movie was made in 2006. So this is like slightly, this is like 2025, 2030 or something like that.
So the United States doesn't exist?
Like broke up or something happened.
That's close enough, Inspector. Our story begins with a young, up-and-coming politician, member of the Conservative Party. He's completely single-minded and has no regard for the political process. A new ability to wage war is born from the blood of one of the victims. 3 targets are chosen to maximize the effect of the attack: a school, a tube station, and a water treatment plant. No one would have predicted the results of the election that year. No one. Lo and behold, a miracle. Fear became the ultimate tool of this government, and...
Yeah, this came out in 2006, so long before any of our current stuff either.
Cheerio.
I'm gonna start using that.
Rookwood.
Till then, cheerio.
Me working on my miniatures. Jen wanting a snack. Is it true you went to Starbucks and didn't get anything?
William Rookwood is dead.
I'd say so.
I'm out. Guy must be rich.
Oh, and they're all masked?
Yeah.
Give me the money!
The whole city's gone mad.
This is exactly what he wants. He knows us better than we know ourselves. Like a perfect pattern laid out in front of me. So much chaos, someone will do something stupid.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
I didn't think you'd come.
I said I would.
Inquire as to how you've avoided detection.
Fake ID works better than a Guy Fawkes mask.
Any any instigator or agitator will be made example of.
Masks were ingenious. It was strange to suddenly see your face everywhere.
There is a face beneath this mask, but it's not me.
Like his hat.
Very Zorro.
Yeah, a lot of Zorro. That's something we need to watch. Did you ever watch Mask of Zorro?
No.
Alejandro de la Vega.
This is my gift to you, Evie. Everything that I have.
Is this another trick, V?
No. No more tricks.
Where are you going?
The time has come for me to meet my maker.
You could let it go. We could leave here together.
No. I can't.
Turning down Natalie Portman. I mean,
Man, he's got an idea, though.
Seeking to divide us.
I've kept my side of the bargain, but have you kept yours? I want to see his face. At last. Goodbye, Chancellor.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
what?
Take off your mask.
No.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna go over so easy.
The only thing that you and I have in common, Mr. Creedy, is we're both about to die.
What you gonna do? We have guns.
No, what you have are bullets. The hope that when your guns are empty, I'm no longer standing.
Kill him.
My turn.
Yeah.
You got some like high-tech Kevlar or something?
Yeah, they'll show it. Oof. I love the trail on his knife.
Oh. They're juicy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. Ideas are bulletproof.
That's also bulletproof.
V! I don't want you to die. V!
Perimeter 1, we have enemy contact.
Hold it, stop right there.
Oh.
Stop. Get your hand off that lever.
No response from command. Call from party leader Creedy.
This country needs more than a building right now. It needs hope.
Bloody hell, stand down!
You like music, Mr. Finch?
My goodness.
Who was he?
He was my father and my mother. He was all of us. Never forget the man and what he meant to me.
Just finished V for Vendetta. This is one of those movies I feel like every time I watch it, I pick up on different things. I know this is the first time you watched it, and I know that there was a lot of stuff going on, and we were inadvertently like more quiet throughout the whole movie, I think just because I think it's one of those movies you have to like pay attention to everything that's going on. I thoroughly love it. Obviously, there's a lot of political stuff that is very relatable. I think another thing that's interesting about this is that I think the perspective of like political parties view the opposing side as being this. Like when Democrats look at like far right or hardcore Republicans, they think that if Republicans had their way, it would be like this. And I know if Republicans look at Democrats and they were like, if Democrats had their way, it would be like this. At least from my experience, that's how I view them perceiving each other. But anyway, there's a lot of that we could get into. So I'm really curious your thoughts on the movie as a whole, on V, on Evie, and what you thought.
I thought it was good. It was a tad long. I think it was dragged out a little bit. Very political. There was quite a bit of scenarios that is reflective of the current times. I believe that there was a couple scenes, the two couples, they were basically apprehended because they were gay, right?
Yeah.
So You know, I was watching this movie and I had to keep reminding myself like what year it was made, because I know that you said that it was supposed to be the future, but it was made in 2006.
Yeah, it's slight future.
But there were so many moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so ironic. To be honest, V, he's a vigilante. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not, not a bad
but
word.
the way that they're portraying him is like he's a hero, which is, I don't know, a little bothersome. That's just my
Well, vigilantes can be like Batman's a vigilante, you know? Spider-Man is a vigilante.
Yes, but with him, I don't put those on the same bar at all. However, you know, V's like mannerisms and the way that he speaks is very different from what I thought he was going to be. And it was also kind of jarring for me to see the way that he talked to Evie and treated her, and then that period where he was literally torturing her. And I understand that he did that. I mean, he basically was conditioning her to view the world through his eyes. So I get what he was doing, and that was it. When he sat down and I saw the gloves and just the way that he was talking to her, I instantly knew. I was like, oh, okay, something's going on here. I don't know, I feel like more than the other characters that you mentioned as far as being a vigilante, they were really glorifying it in this movie. So I don't know how I feel about that. Overall, it was a good movie. I love Natalie Portman, and I thought she was so good in this movie. Her acting was just on point. I also didn't expect as much backstory as there was. I guess V was basically being tested on against his will.
Yeah.
Correct. And then I guess his body was burned, so obviously he's PO'd about it. Anybody would be. I kind of feel like he just wants vengeance. I understand that like he's trying to open up the citizens' eyes to what their government is doing, and I absolutely understand that angle. Actually, one of my favorite scenes was at the end where, you know, all the citizens kind of came together and we're not gonna take it anymore. Wanted answers from their own government. I like that part. I just don't know about how they portrayed V. There were some moments where I felt like it worked, and then there were other moments where I was just like,
what do you mean, what worked?
well, I don't like that they were basically glorifying him getting vengeance and him being a vigilante / terrorist. And that's just how I feel.
Glorifying the terrorism aspect.
Yeah.
Of it. In our current like political climate, you know, the idea of terrorism or terrorist depends on who you're asking. Because in our own country, America, we were founded by going against Britain. Our own non-compliance with Britain and us basically being like, screw y'all. To Britain, we would have been seen as committing an act of treason, an act of sedition for not complying to the king at the time. So we would have been terrorists to Britain, but to us, in our history, we were revolutionaries. We weren't gonna take it. And that spirit of America still is to this day. So for me, there's a lot of like political warnings I see in movies like this, because no matter where you align politically, you're going to see yourself in V or see the opposing side as the chancellor or whatever. For me, my big red flags are if any political alignment or political group or leader tries to focus on a specific group of people. It could be Mexicans, it could be Muslims, it could be Christians, it could be Jews, it could be women, it could be gays, whatever. And we're kind of told that these people are bad, or these people are skewed, or these people are wrong, or these people are dangerous. That's a red flag for me, as far as the integrity of those leaders. Anybody that's trying to say, you need to rely on me because I will keep you safe. If you don't vote for me, or if you don't support us or our cause, then you're gonna be in danger, or the bad guys are gonna win, or there's people after you, or these types of things. Those are all red flags for me. And I feel like that's a key sign of you're being manipulated and they're trying to get you into this us versus them mentality. So I think that this movie points at that a lot, but those are just red flags for me. The whole thing about, there's a lot of stuff like about political conspiracy theory in this movie that I know a lot of people relate to. Anyway, additional thoughts.
I like V's mindset of, this is what the government's doing. I want to expose that. It's not okay. I can identify with that. However, I felt like this movie just in general kind of just glorified the lengths that he went. I mean, that last scene with like blowing up the parliament was like insane to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little extra sensitive when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there were certain scenes that I was just kind of like, wow. It was almost like a celebration, which was just kind of strange for me to see. But I like the V character and what he's trying to go for. I think it just kind of fell differently for me seeing it. One thing I did like was V and Evie's relationship. There was a lot of moments where I was like, is it a romantic one? Is it confidant? Is it, you know, it was just kind of back and forth. But I liked it. He was always very soft-spoken to her when he wasn't torturing her. I liked the relationship. I really think a highlight for me was just Evie's character. I liked her a lot. She seemed very emotionally strong, even though she didn't think that she was emotionally strong. I liked her a lot. I also liked the main investigator.
Filch, yeah.
I thought that he was really, really great. He did a great job. Another good thing that I liked about this movie was it was very unpredictable. I had no idea what the backstory was. I didn't know what was gonna happen next. It very much kept me guessing. The send-off was also interesting to me, that it wasn't actually V that kind of did all this. It was Evie making that final decision to essentially carry on his work, or that's how I viewed it. So that was very interesting. And then the investigator, she's like, do you like music? Which was obviously ironic. To me, that was kind of a moment where like she was gonna be doing what V did with her. So that was also interesting.
We're still stuck on some of the terrorist actions of blowing up the buildings, and one of the things that Evie said to him is like, is blowing up a building really gonna matter or change? And V, at least my perspective of him, he views like the world as like what things represent. Like it's not the building that matters, it's what the building represents power to these leaders. And he's like, on its own, blowing it up would mean nothing, but because it means something to them, me destroying it is what will carry over. He talks about, you know, the symbols, people are attracted to symbols, and it's the people that give symbols power. Destroying a building, which is a symbol, and the act of destroying it is also a symbol. I know that he thinks in more of those like, this is what it will feel like, and this is what it will represent, as opposed to the actual action itself.
I figured it out. I like the fact, like I said, that he's very much, this is wrong, we need to do something about it. However, his answer was what I perceive as violence against people, or him, or whomever, is additional violence. He may not view it as violence, but I definitely do.
I see.
So I guess my mindset, that's what is off-putting for me. That his answer to violence is more violence. I am very much a person that just does not believe in that. I don't think the answer for killings is to go out and kill someone else or get retribution. That's not my mindset. So that's, I think, why I'm a little bit like, that doesn't jive.
I hear you, and I agree. Let us be clear, this is just a movie. It's make-believe. While it still opens up these dialogues for us, I don't condone going out and blowing up buildings or committing violence against people.
I think I would have been a lot more on board with V if he had done it in a way where he exposed the actions of the government, those that had wronged him, in a way where the world knew what they did, but it didn't require him murdering people, blowing up a building. I think that I would have absolutely been like, that guy's a hero.
My retort on that would be the
government would cover it up.
The government controls the media. You know, it's hard to look at like the guy at the beginning, Prothero, and be like, this is just Sean Hannity, this is Tucker Carlson. You know, or if you're a Republican, this is CNN or whatever. So even when he blew up the building, the government was like, this was a controlled demolition. So I feel like no matter what V were to do or show or to try to prove, it would have been twisted.
If there is one thing V is, it's creative. I don't buy that he could not find a way to make all of these actions known in a way where the government, even if they did, I mean, there's been so many instances in real life where the government has provided an answer for something that has happened and citizens have been like, I don't buy it. Not every single citizen buys it, but there is a large amount that would say, I don't buy it, there's something wrong with that. I think there's more to the story. You know, we have UFOs, perfect example of that.
Oh, this will be good.
You know, they gave us some explanation and there are some citizens that bought it, but there is a large amount of people that didn't. They actually, released a paper admitting that it was a UFO. It was later recalled, or no, it's actually not a UFO. But still, I think that V could have done it in a way where people heard the truth. People were open to that, and it wouldn't have required him to sink down to the level that they did. So I wish it would have kind of delved into that a little more instead of just, going full speed.
My thing to that would be, they made it so that the citizens were already pretty aware that the government was garbage. You know, at the very end, they were like, we did a survey, or we did our scans, and it was like 80% of the people believe that V is still alive. You know, so the people are already aware.
And that was before he blew up the building.
That was after he blew up the first one. And remember they showed the footage, the doctor footage of him being shot and killed in the studio, you know? So they were like...
Yeah, but I'm saying that's before they blew up Parliament.
Yeah, the final explosion.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, he does... I understand that he already did certain actions before that.
Right, but so in the timeline of the movie, he blows up the Bailey, he goes to the news station, does his broadcast, he's like, come with me in a year from now. And then he puts the mask on all the people in the fog, and then the police shoot the guy. On the news later that evening, they said the vigilante V was killed. So nobody needs to think about going on in a year from now. Okay? And then, so my point is that the people are already aware that they're being lied to by the media, that the government is untrustworthy, because as far as they knew, V was dead this whole time. And they did the scans, and they're like, hey, Chancellor, 80% of people still think that he's alive, even after we've done all this. My point is that the V disclosing the truth or having proof, the people are already kind of aware that they're being lied to. V's whole issue is that the people are compliant in allowing the government to get to that point. Remember when he said, I'm gonna hold these people accountable, the Chancellor and all these people, but you only need to look in a mirror if you want to find out who else is responsible. So I think that it didn't matter of him trying to show proof or evidence, because people are already aware. V wanted action. He wanted people to get up and stop taking that crap. But again, obviously don't go blowing up buildings or doing anything stupid, but yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's ever going to make sense for him to sink to the level of the people that he's basically condemning. Saying that what they were doing, killing people, testing on them, doing all these wrong things is unacceptable, should not be accepted by the people. But his answer is to kill more people. Like, to me, that's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Hypocritical.
Yes, very hypocritical. So I almost feel like they did a disservice to the character, because I like the fact that he was so headstrong about, I want change. I want the people to want change. It makes me sad that his message came through the way that it did. Probably just reflected more towards real life, I guess, for me, which is really hard not to, with just where we are in this world and everything that's happening. I just wish that his character would have been handled a little bit better when it came to his message. But, you know, I liked his ideas, I liked the characters. Just in general, I thought that the storyline was really unique, and I'm glad I saw it. It was a very powerful movie.
Maybe I should clarify a little bit further here too. While I agree, I like V, I like his ideas, and they just, as far as like an action movie standpoint, they made him like a badass. You know, he's super intelligent, super meticulous, and handles his stuff. But at the same time, I would never condone kidnapping someone, torturing them, shaving their hair, and like doing all that. So, and obviously I don't agree with those aspects of V or think that any of that's right. And then I hear what you're saying, that violence should not beget violence, and I get all that. I hear you. The last thing I wanted to throw in was the end scene where, you know, the Parliament's being blown up and everyone's taking their masks off, and they show just a brief moments of some of the people that from the past. It was like the comedian guy. Oh, that's another thing we didn't talk about, censorship. That's another red flag for me, and both parties do that. The comedian dude, they showed him pulling off his mask, the two lesbian women pulling off their masks, the child pulling off their mask. At first when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, did none of that happen? Was that all just more of V's lies? Did those people not actually die? And then I took it as like, maybe that's like symbolic of them being there, like with them, as like it's happening, even though they've already died. So I wasn't sure how to make of that, because I took that, like, that could be seen with two interpretations, I think. And the only evidence we had that any of them died was V's word, except for maybe the little girl who was shown in like a flashback, the one with the glasses, you know, she was there pulling her mask off, and she had been shot earlier. What did you think about that?
I actually don't remember seeing the girl specifically, but I do remember her obviously getting shot. So I do think, obviously that's very powerful, very meaningful. I would lean more towards she was actually shot, and it was just as
symbolic.
In spirit, she was there standing up against injustices or whatnot. Like I said, that was probably one of my favorite scenes. I just like the idea. I don't like that idea of people being compliant with things that the government that they're doing that are wrong. Definitely not. I think that citizens should stand up and say that's not okay, it's not acceptable, we know what you're doing. The particular scene where they all came together and the government very much was like, they didn't know what to do. I mean, partly because they couldn't get a hold of anybody, but I liked that it was that position. There were so many of them that the government just did not know what to do. There was that strength there. I really enjoyed that part. And I think more than anything, that's what I think that V stood for, or should stand for. People coming together and saying, this is not okay. So I really, really enjoyed that. I thought it was probably one of the most powerful moments throughout the movie, so.
Okay, the actual last thing. I was thinking about what you said about the violence, and violence should never beget violence, and I'm trying to think, like, I agree with that in its principle, but at what point does it become your duty? And that's that American side of me. Because the way they portrayed the country at this point was more akin to like Nazi Germany. There's curfews, there's corrupt policemen who were going to rape Natalie Portman in an alley, corrupt policemen shooting kids. They were literally capturing, kidnapping, like concentration camps of gay people and like these people to test on them. At some point, you have to do something, you know? So that's like when I'm seeing that and the violence thing, I don't know if the logical way to think about it is, this is just defense at this point. I'm not attacking you, but I will defend. So the line is blurry there, but for me that I could see justifying some violence. If the police are raping women, you know what I mean?
What part could you justify? Blowing up buildings and murdering people? Like what specific part could you justify? Them coming together in Times Square and trying to overthrow the government, or what?
I'm not saying that blowing up the building is the answer. I'm not saying that attacking government buildings is the answer. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that being complacent or just letting these things happen is also not the answer. I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm not, I don't know.
I don't think being complacent is an answer either. I definitely think people should stand up, and I don't think that they should be quiet.
But do what? Because in this world, those who spoke up were killed.
I'm not saying don't speak up. What I'm saying is, I don't think that any kind of violence, killing people, blowing up buildings, I don't think that's ever going to be the answer to solve any problem.
So what do you think in the...
If anybody had those answers, I feel like America would be a very different place. But unfortunately, we have not gotten to the point where we have the answers for that. But like I said, I do know that blowing up buildings, murdering people vengefully is probably not the answer, and I don't think that it's going to bring peace. I don't think that it's going to bring peace amongst us and the government.
You know something we're also doing? We're mixing these personal vendettas with the political side of the movies.
But he did that also on his own.
Right. But so V is like vengefully killing these people that personally hurt him, and we're responsible for the St. Mary's massacre and all that. I agree. Those things that V were doing, I would not obviously support, murdering and all that. That aside, we look at like our own political climate, and it's like, personally, I did not support those people attacking our capital, you know? And a lot of that is not addressed in this, because I don't think it was as big an issue at the time. It's always been an issue, but we deal currently with such an amount of misinformation, of this fake news, and people that spread that, and they just believe lies straight up, and they act on lies. So it's hard for me to be like, because they think in their mind that they are being patriotic. They are doing the right thing. Their heart's in the right place. They love their country, and in their perspective, it's being taken over by bad people. So there's a lot of like self-introspection. And what do I believe that I may be wrong on politically or whatever. If you're just like, I am right, I saw a video on TikTok, or I Googled this thing, confirmation bias, just be smart, okay? This is turning into a whole other thing. But that's okay, that's what this movie is supposed to do. That's one of the reasons it's so good. We're here, let's bring it up to a more shallow section here. How about that domino scene, huh? That was pretty sick. All right, that was pretty sweet. We dragged this one out for a while, so we appreciate you talking. Leave a comment down below. There's a lot to discuss. Did you have any last minute things?
Be nice, y'all. Everybody has their own opinions. We're not trying to start a fight.
Yeah, please.
It's honestly all in good fun. I love the banter back and forth and just the different opinions. Overall, I thought it was a decent movie. It's one of those movies that really gets you thinking. I don't know if when they made this, they realized the impact that it may have at this particular time in our world. So obviously it has a little bit more meaning to it. So it's one of those movies that really gets you thinking.
Yes, absolutely, I agree entirely. Be the type of person that will break bread with anyone, regardless of political, religious views.
Go with peace.
Yeah, go with peace. By peace I leave you. That's right. Well, anyway, we'll leave it at that. I'm gonna go on to it again. We appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy it, leave the video a like. It does help the channel out a lot. Again, let us know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you wanna see more fun content like this. Consider joining my Patreon to get early access to select videos. Happy November 5th if you're watching this the day.
We gotta rate it.
Oh. We'll rate the movie. For me, I'll do it real quick. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. What would you rate it?
Really? I'm gonna go with a 7.5.
Okay.
I thought it was a decent movie. I liked that it got me thinking. I liked the depth of the characters, especially V. He was a hard guy to figure out. Constantly question why he's doing something, what emotions he's feeling, but I like that part. So yeah, 7.5.
Okay, actual last thing. They kept bringing up the Count of Monte Cristo, and Evie says at one point, she says, I didn't like the way it ended because of Mercedes. He cared more about revenge than he cared about her, which obviously contrasted to V, who cared more about revenge than, well, Evie and doing the right thing in those cases. So that was a good contrast to your point that he's just acting out of vengeance, and that's not okay either. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care.
Bye.